Okay, so I have a theme for the day, and I think I'm just going to start being more organized in my work and working with themes. And the theme for the day is core distal, the relationship between core distal connectivity. So that is like our center out to our edges. The distal parts are our fingers and our toes, and the core is like the whole center. So we could think of the central channel, midline, or we might think of like our lower dantian. In Laban, we talk about our center of gravity down here and our center of levity up here. But I like to think of the core as our organs, our nervous system, our skeleton, our muscles, all that stuff in the torso, the center, and all of it working together in a coherent manner. So I'm going to do this all laying down. And you can do it seated, you can do it laying down. I think that today I actually really will be working with micro movement myself. So the invitation is to go into micro movement, but if you feel like bigger movement is calling to you, allow that to happen. So I'm going to start laying down and just allow myself to settle into the floor, allowing my weight to drop down, connecting to the gravitational pull of the earth. I'm inviting my system to slow down. Allowing the fluid in my body to pool downwards toward the ground. And I'm actually going to take one hand on my chest and one hand on my belly to help feel into being. I'm just allowing ourselves to receive ourselves as is, with kindness in our eyes, with kindness in our thoughts, with kindness for our body. And so the invitation is to come deep into a sense of our central channel, into that core structure of our body. Our spinal cord, our vertebrae, all of the little muscles in there, our organs, the movement of our breath. So this deep underlying breath support. So there shall be a natural growing and shrinking happening with that deep shape flow breath support. But you can also just allow your body to be breathed, right? Your body is going to breathe. You can allow it to breathe. And what I'm noticing for myself right now is this sort of interior head-tail wave pattern that's happening. So I'm allowing a really micro wave pattern to happen. For me right now, it's really initiating closer to my tail and coming up towards my head. But it might initiate in my head or my ribs or in my lungs or anywhere, just allowing this wave pattern to arise if that feels interesting. So bringing our awareness into the center of our core channel. And it may be different to you what that idea of a core channel is than what I'm describing. So if your vision of what that is different, that's fine. Or if your sensation and awareness is different, let it be different. It may be interesting to come sort of into the center of your body, like around your belly button, and move from there. A little fluid movement from the center, rippling its way outward. If you were a still lake, some still water, and somebody dropped a pebble right into the center, how would it ripple outwards? Just imagining what that would be like. Allowing and receiving the ripples of movement from any micro movement that's happening in your body. Yeah, in the Bartenia fundamentals, in developmental patterning, we talk about navel radiation, radiating from the navel outwards and returning back in. So you could imagine like being like a starfish or a jellyfish with that center mouth belly, and then everything radiates out to the edges. If it's interesting, start to maybe micro move in your fingers and toes, or feel the soles of your feet, feel the palms of your hands, feel the tips of your fingers and your toes, just bringing your awareness out to that edge. It can come quickly back to center, or it can stay out there, but inviting in this awareness, center to edge and back again. Our nervous system is going to always like have this relationship of distal to core. If we feel it out to the edge, if we feel something at the edge, it's being read through our spinal cord and our brain and interpreted. So the core distal relationship is always happening in our body, whether our awareness is there or not. And if it feels interesting, you could open yourself up into a like shavasana or a star pose where your arms and legs are out. Although for me, I feel like keeping it in. I can still feel core distal even as I'm in this nearer reach space with my body close together. Allowing your awareness to travel within your body on whatever pathways are interesting. If you find that you keep repeating things or tuning into the same channels, try going somewhere different. Notice that you're in this repetition pattern, and then just try something different. Go somewhere else with your awareness. Micro movement could be happening right out at the edges, fingertips and toes, and or deep inside the center. Waves of awareness could be rippling outward or rippling inward. Giving yourself permission to dive deep into your awareness of sensation inside your body. If that feels challenging, just notice wherever you are and ask, can I go deeper? Can I go deeper? Can I go deeper? Can I really go micro with the movement? Can it be very small? Maybe slowing down even more. If your mind starts to wander, thoughts are wandering around outside or inside, let yourself come back into the sense of the central channel, this core awareness, bringing it back to maybe the growing and shrinking of your breath or any kind of internal movement as your inner body shapes and flows. You can play with micro movement in your fingers and toes or in your hands and feet and be very deep in that awareness. So the depth doesn't have to necessarily be happening just in the center of our body. We can go deep into our fingers and toes, deep into the pattern of core distal. We can be aware of both edges, the core and the distal, at the same time. Or maybe it's interesting just to be in one little tiny place, really shine our awareness in that one place. Maybe it's interesting for it to be sort of global and expansive, or ping back and forth to this specific, really direct awareness, or more global, expansive, indirect awareness. All the time with this deep underlying flow of aliveness in your body. Embryologically, we kind of unfold as humans, like we are this little sort of ball, and then things start to unfold. The primitive streak of the spine starts to develop. The face and the heart unfold from each other. So there's this natural sort of central out to the edges development of our bodies. So on a deep cellular level, there's a familiarity. If we can tune into that, this unfolding out to the edges, and then we can bring our awareness back in. If you're struggling with the sensation of micro movement or coming into this awareness, maybe move bigger and then just see, can I move smaller and still feel it? Or if it's easy for you, you could just go into how small can I move and still feel that I'm actually moving. For me, that's like an instant shamatha, like zhup, right into that awareness, into that focus. And as you're in that, there's no need to lock down any part of your body. Like you could be in this deep awareness with one part, but there might be flows happening through the other parts of your body, and that's okay. I have kind of a lot of outer sound in my environment, so I'm actually gonna share sound and just use a little bit of music for the end of this so that if you guys are picking it up, it won't be too distracting. So maybe for like a short period of time, we'll do just a little bit with music. And I probably won't be talking, so feel free to explore. If your exploration goes into other places, let it happen. If you want to keep reining it back into the core distal, that's great too. This is Jeff Kirsch, Ambient Fields. some motorcycles out there and sirens, all sorts of exciting things. I'm going to end the live stream there. Feel free to continue.